Hey everyone, it's Dr. Ashley, pediatric emergency mom. So I had a conversation with a mom yesterday and she said, you know, this should be the topic of your next video. And what we talked about was her son who has ADHD, which I can relate. My son has ADHD, and traditional schools. So the traditional school model and how oftentimes ADHD kids, in particular little boys, right, don't quite fit into that traditional school model. And our conversation really, it resonated, you know, what I said resonated with her and what she said resonated with me. And I just wanted to share this with anybody that needs to hear it. You know, when schools are talking to you about your children who have the wiggles, have a difficult time sitting still, can't focus, hard time finishing their work, these kinds of things, please know that your child is not alone. I'm going to say that again. Your child is not alone. And as a parent, you are not alone. You're not alone. I often would teach my residents, when we're seeing kids with fever, I've seen thousands of kids with fever. And for me, fever is not a big deal. But if I'm seeing a child who has fever and this is the first time they've had a fever this high and the family is extremely worried about it, I am going to treat that child like they are the most important child in the world in that moment. And I'm going to give the family my attention, my empathy, and I'm going to be patient and kind with them and let them know and explain to them that they're not alone and that we're going to get through this. And here's how we're going to get through this. And I think that this is often lost now in some of the conversations that schools are having with parents. And don't get me wrong, I am so pro teacher. I think that teachers should be making, I flipped the salary of, you know, NFL and teachers. That's it. Don't get me on that soapbox. But anyway, so pro teacher, and you know what they're having to go through every day, and to have, you know, however many different little personalities in their room, and to manage all of those kids is like, wow. But I think that there's a better way to have these conversations with parents, and there's a better way for parents to process it. And speaking from experience, there were times when I felt like, oh my gosh, my child is the only, he's the only one having these problems in the class. That's the way I felt, because that's the way the information was delivered. And that is not the case. It's not the case. So parents, you're not alone. Kids, you're not alone. And so how can we get through this together, right? And this is one of my biggest points of education and advocacy is I think that, you know, traditional schools aren't a great fit for a lot of kids with ADHD. However, a lot of parents don't have another option, right? And so then if you don't have another option, and your child is in whatever school you're in, and that's where they're going to go to school, then how can we help them be successful? And so anyway, this is something I'm going to keep talking about, but I did just want to deliver that information that parents, you're not alone, your kid's not alone. There's a whole community of us, and I'm certainly here for you guys.